Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I'm Louise from The Dusty Jacket. We've reviewed historical fictions for kids and young adults. And now adults, it's your turn. And each of these selections are truly worth reading, so sit back, relax, while I give you 5 great historical fictions for adults. Let's get started. Our first book is The Last Runaway by Tracy Chevalier, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars. Honor Bright left her family in Dorset, England, to accompany her sister, Grace, set to marry a fellow Quaker, to America. It's 1850 and the federal government is on the cusp of passing the Fugitive Slave Act, which would strengthen the rights of slave owners while threaten the rights of free blacks. Upon Honor's arrival, tragedy forces her to navigate these new customs and laws alone, laws which conflict with her Quaker beliefs. When she befriends Belle Mills, a no-nonsense and generous milliner, and Mrs. Reed, a free black woman, Honor unwittingly becomes part of the Underground Railroad and will be forced to choose between her principles and her family. Alternating between third-person narration and first-person point of view through letters written by and to Honor, The Last Runaway is a thrilling story set in the harsh, untamed, yet beautiful backdrop of Ohio. Honor has to adjust to a harsh climate, the unwanted attention of a would-be suitor, wariness from the locals, familial hostility, and a political environment that's antithetical to everything she's been taught. But she finds a way to acclimate and even discovers a unique way to protest and stand up for what she believes in. Chevalier gives us several rich and multi-dimensional characters that keep the action and suspense going at a steady pace with a satisfying and unexpected climax at the end. And Honor, who spent the entire book looking for her place in the world, is able to abandon her comfort zone, allowing her to find a reason to finally stop running. Book number 2 is The Kitchen Boy by Robert Alexander, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars. Mikhail Misha Semyonov is 94 years old. He's a man who's tired of living with the knowledge of what he's caused, what he's seen, and what he's done. Before he dies, he begins dictating his story into a small black tape recorder that will be given to his granddaughter upon his death. Misha desires neither understanding nor absolution. He merely wants the truth to finally be known, and perhaps at last it will. It's one thing to read about the execution of the Romanov family during the late night, early hours of July 16 through 17, 1918. The information gleaned from a history book or online is rather antiseptic. What we get from Robert Alexander is an emotional, personal, and in-depth portrayal of a father, a mother, and their 5 children. We see Nikolai and Alexandra not as Tsar and Tsarista, but as a loving husband and wife and doting parents. Viewing them in this light makes reading about the horrific and heinous murders all the more gut-wrenching. Because of this humanistic portrayal of the royal family in the 2 weeks leading up to their execution, we almost forget that this is based on fact, and we futilely hold out hope for a courageous midnight rescue or a perilous, well-planned escape, although history reminds us that neither will happen. This book held a few surprises for me. First, the number of secret notes, letters, and diaries that not only survived, but were preserved. I found this astonishing, given the Bolsheviks' ruthless intent to wholly wipe out the very existence of the Romanovs. It was also interesting to learn how the Romanovs planned to smuggle their vast family fortune once they acquired liberation, which I won't divulge in case this is news to you. Third, the ending was purely unexpected and opened up a whole new prospect of what if. Just when you think you've reached the end of the story, Alexander gives us one final jolt that depletes the room of oxygen and leaves us wishing that his work of fiction was indeed fact. Our third book is A Dictionary of Mutual Understanding by Jackie Coppleton, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars. On August 9, 1945, a new word entered the Japanese lexicon, Pikadan. Pika, meaning brilliant light, and Dan, meaning boom. It aptly described what Amaterasu, Takahashi, and thousands of others saw and heard in Nagasaki at 11:02 a.m. A brilliant light and the boom. Amma lost her daughter and grandson on that fateful morning. They were everything to her. Nearly 40 years later, a man, badly scarred and disfigured, knocks on her door bringing good news. "Please don't be alarmed," the stranger said. "My name is Hideo Watanabe. It is good to see you, grandmother." He left her a letter to read to get their journey started. a journey that would take Amma back to a tragic past and a man who would be the common thread to everyone she had ever loved and lost. A Dictionary of Mutual Understanding is Jackie Coppleton's first novel and is truly a hauntingly beautiful story. Using Amma as our narrator, we experience the horror when the second of 2 atomic bombs hit the city of Nagasaki, the first hitting Hiroshima 3 days prior on August 6th. Through Amma's eyes, we witness the carnage, fear, destruction, and chaos as survivors desperately search for loved ones, while the injured beg for water or aid. Coppleton gives readers a multi-layered story that is brimming with pain, loss, regret, and love. But the single theme that runs throughout the story is hope. Whether you are extended it, enticed by it, or desperately hold on to it, hope has many faces. A grandmother looking for comfort, a scarred man searching for healing, a young wife waiting for her husband's return from war, a lover wanting a second chance, or a city emerging from the rubble. Coppleton's poignant and touching story reminds us that it is when things are at their darkest that hope often comes knocking on our door. Our next book is Ghost on Black Mountain by Anne Height, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars. Nellie Clay was only 17 when she married 25-year-old Hobbs Pritchard. With just a feed sack of clothes, some trinkets, and a childhood full of memories, she leaves the only home she's ever known and moves to Black Mountain with a man she barely knows and the ghosts he has spent a lifetime creating. Ghost on Black Mountain is a haunting tale of abuse, power, greed, and fervent love. There's not a soul on Black Mountain that hasn't been negatively impacted or affected by Hobbs Pritchard, and his toxic anger and avarice blanket the mountain like mist on a crisp autumn morning. Height does a credible job in conveying the torment and fear unleashed on a tightly knit mountain community by a man consumed by evil and jealousy. The author keeps the story interesting by having different female characters narrate and share their own histories and perspectives. Near the end of the book, just when you think that you're safely out of the woods, Height throws in an unexpected twist by introducing an unknown character. Rather than stall the story's progression with this sudden interruption, this shift actually adds to the story's mounting tension and brings us ever closer to an inevitable tipping point. As this character's story is slowly unraveled, we become uncomfortably and painfully aware that the ghost on Black Mountain may never truly rest in peace. Our last book is A Reliable Wife by Robert Goulrick, which I rated 4 out of 5 stars. Ralph Truitt is 54 years old, rich, and alone. He's been alone for 20 years, and if the loneliness doesn't kill him, then another year in a bleak and barren Wisconsin winter might. So he places an ad in the Chicago paper. Country businessman seeks reliable wife. Compelled by practical, not romantic reasons. Reply by letter. He receives many responses, but it's Catherine Land's letter that he chooses. He's read it so many times he knows it by heart. But it's the first sentence that piques his interest. I am a simple, honest woman. But letters can be deceiving, and all this simple, honest woman wants is to acquire both love and money. And Ralph Truitt is Catherine's ticket to her dream. With a beautiful face and a sympathetic backstory, she's well on her way of inheriting a vast fortune. Unless Ralph Truitt has something else in mind. A Reliable Wife is one of those books that if you don't stick with it, you would simply give up on it. With its foreboding and depressing backdrop of a 1907 Wisconsin winter, its flawed and morally corrupt characters, and its underlying themes of lust and sexual fantasies, it really takes a Herculean effort to weed through all the debauchery and depression. Thankfully, a nice story twist about midway through the book rewards those who stick it out and mark the beginning of several plot turns that will maintain your interest and make the remaining scenes of lust and unrequited passion a little bit more tolerable. Well, that's it. We'll include a link to our Goodreads page in the comments section should you wish to read the full review of any of these books. And if you enjoyed this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to hit the bell so that you're notified when new videos become available. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to bringing back some old titles so that you can make new memories, because any time is a good time to dust off a new favorite. Keep reading!